For cheap gold, items and other boosts for Diablo 4, visit aoeah.com. Check out the link in the description, you get 3% off with the code ARIAT. New in supply, gift cards for different platforms. Buy fast and comfortable and get the code by email. Hello and welcome everybody. In this guide I present you my fireball build for the mage class. It has some high area damage and is able to clear higher dungeons. Boss fights go a bit longer compared to other meta builds. You don't have that high focus damage like a Bone Spear Necro, but nevertheless the fireball build is very powerful, even PvP ready, and makes a lot of fun. Let's start with the skill tree. We are skilling Enhanced Firebolt, but we are playing without the basic attack in the endgame, so only 1 point here. In the core skills, Destructive Fireball is maximized and the passive skill Elemental Dominance. I also put the point into Frozen Orb, which I trigger by enchantment. In the defensive skills Shimmering Flame Shield, Shimmering Teleport and Mystical Frost Nova each at level 1, and the Mystical Ice Armor gets 4 points. Also 3 each in Glass Cannon and Elemental Attunement. Then 3 points in Mana Shield, and in the Mastery skills all orange-red passive skills are maxed. Then we take the passive skills Fury Surge and Soulfire. Further you can use Supreme Inferno, but for PvP or higher dungeons I recommend Deep Freeze. Central passive skill is Izu's Ferocity. As enchantment we use Firebolt to ignite everything we hit with the fireballs, and in addition Frozen Orb. Optionally you could also put the Ice Armor instead, or anything else. There are several possibilities here. In the Paragon system I use the board Searing Heat, Burning Instinct, Enchantment Master and Static Surge, in just that order. In addition, the Glyphs Destruction, Flame Feeder, Tactician, Unleash and Control or Territorial. It is important to take the legendary notes on both fireboards. Here you can follow my path, and you can also find a link to the planner in the description. Now the items and aspects. We use 3 to 4 unique items. The Raiment of the Infinite expands the possibilities in the gameplay, but it is not absolutely necessary for the build. You can also play without the armor if you haven't found it yet. The Gloves of the Illuminator on the other hand are extremely important because we need them for the large damage area. The gameplay without these gloves was much worse, especially because much less monsters are hit by the CC effects. The unique gloves reduce the fireball damage, but at the latest when you play a Barbahard, you will not longer notice. In PvP you can also play +4 gloves with IAS and crit chance, but there I also prefer the uniques at the moment. Then you can play the Staff of Endless Rage. The additional projectiles with every third attack are quite useful. But in the endgame, and especially for PvP, I prefer one-handed weapon and shield, so I get 2 more aspects instead, and additional cooldown and resources. In addition, I like to play Temerity on the build, especially in PvP, but also when running dungeons I often use them. Alternatively, of course also some pants with damage reduction are fine. At the beginning I recommend 2 ring aspects for resource generation, mana on CC and mana on lucky hit. But when you have enough cost reduction and resource generation on your items, you can replace the latter by another damage aspect, e.g. extra damage on barrier. The affixes should have crit chance, resource generation and damage, maybe also maximum life. On the amulet I play the aspect that increases the fireball crit damage. Also, cost and cooldown reduction are useful here, plus movement speed are useful passive skills. On the helmet we want to have cooldown reduction, life, armor and stats for the Paragon system, or just intelligence. With the defensive aspect different ones are useful, an extra charge Frost Nova for example, or unstoppable on ice armor, so you have an additional stun breaker. To be able to change in between, I just take both helmets with me. On the shoes I prefer the Exploiter's aspect, and we want cost reduction and movement speed here. Also nice are +4 to ice armor or stats for the Paragon system if needed. The weapon should have critical strike damage and other strong damage affixes, and critical strike damage or stats. The aspect should pimp the damage. For the weapon, high item power is also important. The focus needs affixes like resource generation, cooldown and cost reduction, as well as crit chance. Here also pay attention to the item power and DPS. In addition, the purple heart for stunning the enemies is very important. Every 5th or 6th fireball then stuns everything it hits. In addition I play the Barber heart and Tempting Fate. My Fireball Sorceress is almost a one-button character, at least when running dungeons that are not too high. I basically shoot everything before it even gets close to me. I can use teleport here to get ahead faster. Inferno bundles the monsters, and for a while you can fire without any mana costs. The area damage is really impressive, you can't kill masses more comfortably. Also for Helltide a very effective build.
Level up! Boom!
When running higher dungeons, the CC effects become more important. Masses are stunned by our main attacks, and further we still have the teleport and the Frost Nova. We can also make opponents vulnerable by Frost Nova and the Frozen Orb enchantment. For dicey situations we have the Flame Shield, and who wants to be on the safe side also Deep Freeze. The nice thing here is that it resets the cooldown of the defensive skills, so we can make ourselves immune again directly after with the Flame Shield. In principle, the Sorc can also run tier 100 dungeons, the potential is definitely there, but you have to play skillfully, and some dungeon affixes and monster types should better be avoided. The best way is to go in a group, so you can shoot from the second row and the whole team benefits from the CC effects. In PvP, the Sorceress is quite tough too, I was surprised very positively. Also here you get the enemy stunned very often, and thanks to the generous fireball area, you always hit. The damage is not as high as in other builds, but in extreme situations you can make yourself immune 3 times in a row, once with Flame Shield, then Deep Freeze and then again Flame Shield. That is very powerful. In addition, you can freeze the enemies with Frost Nova and make them vulnerable. Teleport makes you very mobile, you can use it for attack or escape. Both farming and PvP is really nice with this build. I wish you a lot of fun trying out. I say goodbye, take care and may the loot be with you.
Boah, bei mir sind welche. Edmond, hast du erwischt.
Ja, ich hab ihn. Shit, die beiden sind auf mir drauf. Die wollen ihre Samen wieder haben. Geile
Dankeschön.
Marks.
Alter, Triple Kill.
Oh, es gibt Gaswerk. Hast du kein Hafer gefressen?
Follow me. Come on. Thanks. Bye.